Hello, everybody. Today I have with me Lakshmi. Hello, Lakshmi. How are you today?
Hi, Dominika. Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you. So tell me, where are you based? Tell me something about your career paths, because I know you have more than one.
I am actually a pharmacist, but I do life coaching mainly on confidence. I feel that a lot of people struggle with the confidence, um, probably in their career or in their education or in their relationships. I see that the struggle with the confidence, because to make those connections or to reach their goals or dreams of a job or education. So I feel that's very essential, and I do coach on that.
And where are you based currently?
Um, I live in Windsor, Ontario, in Canada, but I work in States. So if anyone is interested, I can do virtual. In local place, I know I can do it on face-to-face too, but mainly virtual is good.
Right. Okay. And before we go any further, tell me, what made you get into coaching?
Like I mentioned it, I feel at my work, I see people working 2, 3 jobs, and they have very good abilities, but they don't believe in themselves and they don't believe in their abilities. And I feel that if they get some kind of coaching on it, and definitely they could reach their full potential. And I have not only seen with my store people or my technicians, but also with the new pharmacists who are interns, pharmacy interns. I have seen them. They know, they have the full knowledge of the subject, but they're not confident to speak to the patients or customers when they walk in. And the same thing when it comes to the store people, probably they can be the assistant managers or managers and can go to into the next level of it, but sometimes they don't realize their own potential, and they stuck in there. And I feel definitely a little bit of help can boost their potential to go where they want to be rather than stuck in one place. And also be comfortable to share their knowledge with the patients, or whatever the problem they're facing at work. It's easy for them once they have the confidence to grow and meet the needs of that profession.
And this is why I thought you're the perfect person to talk about confidence, because this is something you specialize in. So maybe let's talk a little bit about confidence. When I think of confidence, I think of it as a kind of belief in oneself, some conviction that we have the ability to meet life's challenges and succeed. And it helps people gain credibility, and they can make strong first impression, deal with pressures in life, and tackle some personal or professional challenges. But I'm really curious. I would love to know, how do you see confidence?
Yeah, you're exactly right what you said about the confidence. It's all about believing in the abilities and believing in one's skills so that they can pursue whatever they want to do. Like I mentioned before, like a pharmacist, a new pharmacist, a new grad intern, if they're confident, they have the full knowledge of it. If they're not confident, when they see the interactions of the medications, they cannot override it, or they cannot take the step towards it, but rather they leave that to the others to do it. So that kind of things. And if another example is, if the patient comes to asking for the advice on the OTC medications, for example, if they're not confident enough, they have the full knowledge of it, what medication is what for, but they cannot able to share that knowledge or consulting the patient what medications are good for their symptoms. And I guess it's just the medical profession, but I guess when it comes to any other profession, it could be the same, because they have the skills of being the pharmacist or a nurse or any other healthcare worker or any other engineer or a student to write the paper, right? But they don't believe that they're capable of doing it. So that's where, if they believe in that, I studied all this and I have this knowledge and I read this book, I can write the paper. So that belief is the one we call it as a confidence. And another example is like, if someone is giving the project at some place and you don't know what project is, but you believe that you are able to do it regardless of the challenges you can face when the project comes to you. You are very like confident. I can do it. Even though it's new, if the self-confidence person goes for it, thinking like they will get, in case if they don't have the knowledge, they know they can acquire the knowledge, but they believe in themselves, saying that they could be able to handle the project no matter what it is or how difficult it can be. So you're spot on it, believing their abilities, believing in their capabilities, and trusting in themselves. That's what the confidence is mainly about.
What factors do you think are the most important in shaping, in building confidence from the very early age of life?
I would say it's, most of the times it's tied to when you're schooling at school. Sometimes your confidence can be built from your teachers, because we spend half of our time with our parents as well as teachers. First of all, let's talk about the teachers and then we go to the parent side, because teachers are the main where they encourage us, like when you do your lessons or when they looking at your results or essays or anything like that, rather than criticizing, if they could encourage them in a positive way, then even though they do the mistakes, they know it's just mistakes are part of learning, and grow from there. It builds their confidence. It's nothing they're not doing the wrong, but rather they're learning and growing. That's kind of mindset develops when they're young, if that's the way how the teachers are teaching them. And also depending on other kids, like in school, we exposed to the different kinds of kids, from older kids to the younger kids at the same age or different ages. And bullying sometimes can think that they're not sufficient enough. They stop believing in themselves because of all the times other kids are criticizing them. They're not good enough to do anything, or they're failing at everything. So criticizing from teachers or from fellow students, that can bring them down to have a low self-confidence. And vice versa, the opposite could be the same. If they have the high self-confidence, is come from the same environment too, because of the praise from the teachers or praise from the other students along. So that comes. But at home also the same thing, because some parents can be very critical about it, rather than showing like it's okay to do the mistakes, you can learn and grow, but rather they're very critical about their things, and they made them to feel they're not capable of doing it. At the young age, they get that into, and they're not, every time they seek for approval of somebody. Without the approval, they are not able to do anything. And as in adults also, they might be struggling the same to getting the approval of it. And they cannot take the criticism, because they feel that every time someone criticizes, they feel that they don't have the abilities and they cannot able to do it. And they develop the low confidence at the same time. So it could be number of reasons other than just the parents and the teachers, but probably in the environment itself where we're growing up. Social factors also can influence too, where you're going, economic factors to a certain extent. So there are a number of other factors can contribute to become whether a person is a low confident or confident person. So there are a lot of factors can be involved in it.
And all those factors you've just mentioned, yeah, I see their impact on my clients when, for example, they talk about their inner critic. So I have impression that this inner critic's voice very often comes from those early experiences at school or at home that you have just mentioned.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Because when you're young, you don't exactly know. You just go with the flow kind. But then as an adult, if you have a low self-confidence, it can be very challenging. Because inner critic is nothing but your inner thoughts that say like, you're not capable of doing your things. You cannot do anything because you don't have the skills to do it. Even though the person has the skills, because it's been reverberating since their childhood days. Someone was saying to them, you're not capable, you don't have the skills kind. So those are the things it keep on coming to their mind. That's the inner critic. And always when they try to do something, the inner critic comes and says like, are you joking? You're not able to do it. You've done it before and you know you didn't do it before. So you're not going to do this time too. It's kind of stopping them, the inner critic. So it's very important when the inner critic comes in, you can turn into the positive way to that inner critic. You cannot ignore it. That's the first thing you have to know. The more you ignore or resist that inner critic, it becomes worse for you. It can be a friend or foe. That's what we say. Inner critic can be your friend or foe. If it makes you a friend, okay, you can tell your inner critic, yes, I failed, but it's nothing. I learned something, right? Everything I do, I learned something, and I'm going to move on. Let's do it. Let's do it together. Just saying that could help you, because otherwise, if you say, without communicating your inner critic, you just try to do your things, it's not going to help you, because it's back of your mind. It's always pushing you back. You try to move forward, but pushing you back. But talking to your inner critic in a positive way, encouraging your inner critic in a positive way, you can go forward and you build your confidence as you go. Because confidence is a skill you may not have, like, because of the factors that we discussed right now. But as long as you recognize that and you want to learn that, it's like any other skill. You can learn it like language. If you don't know language, what you do, you cannot learn it one day. You have to learn it. If you want to learn the sentences or the words first, and then go on a little bit to sentences, to paragraphs, and so on, right? The same thing with this one too. So you expose more yourself. You push one by one day at a time, and see how your confidence come along. So it's very essential, especially if someone is suffering from inner criticism, they have to deal with it. We are not talking about the external factors, but you see internally that's driving you to low self-confidence is nothing but you. So you have to know how to deal with it. Is nothing but talking to it, not ignoring it. Thank you. You got that one.
And also, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that it's a process, that working on confidence, it's a process, and it takes time, like learning any other skill.
Yes, definitely. It is like any other skill. It's not like everyone is born confident, but it's like just like everyone is born leader. The same thing with the confidence too. The same thing. Like, for example, if someone has fear of speaking in the public, right? You might start speaking first, probably like 3-4 people in a group, how you say it, and see how you do it. And then you might enter into the 10-15 people, then bigger group, and you see how you do it. So the more you exposure and the more you speaking for one day at a time to a group of people, at one point you are comfortable to deliver that speech in front of the public. The same thing, right? And also, for example, in my note, I told like how the pharmacists or pharmacy technicians, when they come to deal with the customers, you just memorize that, yes, I have the knowledge of it, and you just seek that knowledge, whatever you have it, and try to share one at a time to the patient. the more you do like 3-4 times, you are comfortable to deal with the patients and delivering that message to them, whatever the knowledge you have it. So it's all about exposing yourself and trusting that one day at a time, the knowledge that you acquired definitely serves you, because knowledge never goes away. It's there in you, but it's just that the skill you have, it never goes away. It's there in us. So it's just bringing that skill and believing that and exposing the skill outside of your boundaries. We say that could help you to be confident. But it's a slow process, but definitely if you keep on trying on it, wherever you have difficulty to be confident, and you can do it. So.
And that takes us to the biggest question. What can we do on a daily basis to get there? What would be your tips? What would be your suggestions to people who want to work on their confidence?
Yes. It's depending on the day, right? Probably some days can be more challenging for some people, may not be. Some days, like I said, depending on what kind of work you're doing and what kind of the day you're looking into. Is that something that really needs you to speak up with the people or in the meeting? Just making sure when you're sitting in the computer, you have to type something and you have to get the information outdrawn from there. So depending on it, how you want to be confident means just for a minute, think about the situation where you think you don't believe in yourself and your skill on that day, on the things that you're doing on that day. Just go with that minute and see what thoughts are coming to you, and also how you feeling in yourself, and also what are you hearing, right? How you seeing about yourself in the situation, and what are you hearing and what are you feeling, and see if that says like your posture, also very important too in that time. See how you sit yourself or how you posing yourself, and if you feel that in the situation is saying like how you cannot do anything, like inner critic comes and saying to you, that's something we talked about. You can apply on it and see how it helps you. You feel nervous or anxious, just take a deep breath and see how that deep breath can relieve your tension out of you and make you a little bit relaxed, so that you're comfortable with it, the feeling of it, right? And visualize that in the situation you are really actually doing it with confidence, whether you are talking or you are doing your job, or you're applying for application, or you are going for an interview, whatever you're doing in that scenario. Just being in that present moment, going on the situation just for a few minutes of that day could help you. If you feel that the whole day, I want to feel confidence, not just that minute. Probably you might have to sit for a few minutes and think of the whole day, how you want to go through on that day. Watch from as a second person from the far, place the glass between, watch that other person, what she is or he is doing in that time, like 9 to 5, we're working. What's your first thing you're going to do? Who is you're going to meet? What are you going to do in the second hour of it? What are you going to do in the third hour of it? And how you want to respond to it, either taking the phone calls, or you're talking to the client, or you're talking to the customer, are you talking to someone else with your colleagues? How you want to respond yourself, how you want to present yourself in front of them. So these are all like, you can just go through as a movie, putting that picture in and see where you feel that low confidence and what you can put them in there, in that picture of that person, so that it becomes easy once this person becomes the other person who is in that picture, and be confident so that the whole day can go smoothly. Nothing to worry about, not being trusting in yourself, because that's the problem, right? You're not trusting in yourself, dealing with the problems or the stresses at work. But definitely when you look at that, you're looking at your strengths and also your weaknesses, And your strengths, you have to remember, you got a lot of strengths than the weaknesses. That's the problem. Most of the times, low self-confidence people cannot understand their strengths. They have to focus on their strengths, but not the weaknesses. Look at the strengths, what that person is doing at there. And then feel that can able to do it. It's all in our mind, thinking that we have all the abilities to do the good, the day go to smooth, we can resolve the problems, we can make the peace with the team, or we can be as a team members, right? And you feel that they're all listening to you, whatever you're doing. And at the end of the day, you feel that you're accomplished kind. So is it clear?
Yes, I understand. You mean there's a lot of self-awareness,
Yes.
mindfulness, and using imagination to create this image we want to become at some point.
Yes. That's the main thing that could help you. Especially the self-awareness brings a lot of information to yourself, because self-awareness is nothing but how your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings, and you're looking at yourself and the other picture, how you are, and correcting those ones. If you're not self-confident, what do you want to feel, or what do you want to think at the time? So yes, definitely.
Thank you for those tips, and I'm sure that many people who'll be watching this video will benefit from those tips.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Dominika.
Thank you. If you want to find out more information, if you want to find out more information about Lakshmi or about me, you can find everything in the description of this video.
Thank you.
Thank you.